Tim, are we? All right, great. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April Permanent Building Committee meeting. We have two subjects to talk about tonight. One is some invoices that have been submitted for the DPW project. We need to review those. And also just a quick update on where we stand. Kim and I have been trading emails with Jim McKay. The major issues regarding paving, he is continuing to review. He's getting prices within the current market, but if I understood his last email correctly, there is some question as to whether or not the previous quotes that were obtained would still be binding for up through the rest of this fiscal year. And they were reviewing that with town council. But either way, he was getting prices to see where we were at. Rich, I know that you sent some information regarding what the marketplace was for asphalt paving.
That just popped up. That popped up on one of the feeds that I have.
All right. Well, so he's pursuing that. He was considering whether or not combining this scope of work with the other paving that they're proposing to do for the town makes a difference in the overall price. And the reason for that is he doesn't have approval from the select board, or I guess not the select board, from town meeting to those funds have not been appropriated for the highway paving. But he certainly has approval for this portion of the project, and we've discussed that. So if it makes sense to get it done, I'm asking him to proceed, get prices, let's make a decision and let's proceed, unless it is cost prohibitive by splitting it up. So that's where that is.
And he can get prices on everything now and just can't sign a contract till the day after town meeting, assuming it passes.
Right. But we can, Craig, proceed with this work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I guess what we would have to do is if he did get a price, and if it did make sense to proceed independent of what they do at town meeting, then I think we would have to have a short meeting to approve a contract in advance of his signing it. So we'd have to convene quickly in order to consider that and make a decision on it. So I think that's what lies ahead for that portion of the work. And the other major issue is his request for a generator for the vehicle service building. He doesn't have all the information yet, so nothing additional on that. So we're waiting on both those major points, and I think that's it. Actually, no, that it's not. Robert Taylor sent a letter memo to Nick Jensen at Cardozi about the bubbling of the RFP panels in the wash bay of the vehicle building, and we're waiting for a response back from him. But I think we already have it. But we put them on notice that that's a defect, and we're really waiting to see whether or not that's a stable situation or whether or not it would continue to propagate. Hopefully it's going to be limited to the few panels that did delaminate. Dave Ramachi was of the opinion, I'm not sure if he expressed this at our last meeting, but he said that when they put the heat on in that building, it was uncontrolled and it got very hot in the wash bay, and he thought that might have been a factor in cold outside, very hot inside, causing some kind of a thermal reaction. And as you know, the delamination was just over joints where there was compound. So it's not delaminating from the gypboard itself, but just where there's a joint compound. So that's what.
Where's the joint? Where's the joint compound?
At the seams of the panels and over the screw holes. So it's just a normal process of taping and compounding the joints between the 4x8 gypboard sheets and then where the screw holes are, they go over that to make them smooth, just like in your home.
But then why didn't the other panels have the same issue?
Why didn't they all do that?
No, they didn't.
Don't really know. Don't really know. So we're going to watch it, and I think, as we discussed last time, if it is a thermal issue, I think we want to get into the winter next winter to see whether or not that situation replicates itself, and we'll see if it's a problem that requires further review. So any questions regarding that? Okay, all right.
And what's
John?
missing?
Are we good, John?
Yeah, basically, Wayne, I think I haven't been in to look at it, but it does surprise me a little bit that they use gypboard there and not cement board.
Well, we did go back, just to refresh everybody's recollection. We did go back with cement board on the lower 4 feet where it was going to be,
that rings a bell.
where it was going to be more wet. But you're right. When you're taking mastic and adhering a rigid product like a reinforced fiberglass panel, attaching it to a cardboard face, I guess in hindsight might be something I might have reconsidered.
Nothing good happens from there on.
Yeah. Rich, you have an opinion on that?
Oh, they probably did for cost. I mean, the rock is probably 3 times the cost of the chipboard, and once you cover it with a fiberglass panel, water shouldn't be getting to it. So they do it in restaurants. That's how they do it in restaurants, is the same way.
Okay. All right. So there you go. I learned something. So, John, there's your answer. Hopefully it's a stable situation and we don't need to talk about it any further, but we put them on notice and we'll continue to watch it.
Yeah, I think Nick said he's looking into it, right?
Right.
Wayne, you said we were missing information on the generator?
At our last meeting, Jim McKay had a number. I don't think he had anything written for a cost, an estimate for him to do the work himself to install the generator. He was, instead of going to a vendor to buy it and have it all installed, he was looking at a lower cost option to see whether or not that would appeal to the committee. But he had a price for a generator, but did not have any other cost information for actually doing that work, whether it was the plumbing, because there's gas hookups that would be required, permitting, electrical, all of that needed to be identified so we could make a decision on it as to whether or not the cost mattered. And so I don't know if he's any further along, but he's not ready to present anything definitive.
And
So-
from what I saw last week, he's not ready to pave. They had to dig up a trench from the exit by the water treatment building to make some connections for the new PFAS stuff.
Not aware of that. As you know, that's not part of
No,
our project. You know, if anybody is well versed in paving and not digging up newly placed pavement, it's Jim McKay. We had this issue on Orchard Street that there could be no connections, additional work, whether it was gas or sewer or water, you know, once that asphalt was placed. So he knows the issues. I'm not sure if this is a, you know, part of his thought process or not, but not being aware of what that other project is, can't really comment.
okay.
Any other questions or comments about the DPW? All right, Kim, let's review some bills.
Okay. Let me just find them here. Hold on. There it is. Okay, so the first invoice, and I apologize, I have a loaner computer, so I don't have the fancy version it won't let me turn it, is what I'm trying to say. But this is for card access system installation, and the amount is $4,468. I'll put it back up here so you can see the amount.
This is separate from, this must be the card reader for the doors.
It is,
Yes.
it's for the doors. Yeah, I asked him, it wasn't part of the other quote that we approved for the security system.
Should the schools have a piece of this?
I'm not sure that there's a card reader for the,
I think it's a lock.
It's the fobs, isn't it? The fobs, Wayne, that we went through?
let's,
Yeah.
Kim, why don't you scroll down to the actual invoice and we'll see if we can read sideways.
Yeah,
I used to be able, card access system installation.
Per quote. How helpful.
Is there any further backup to this?
that's it. I mean, I just have the sheet of Jim saying he approves it. True and ready for payment. And I asked him about it ahead of time. He said, this is for the doors. It's not part of because I was wondering if it's part of the other quote for the security system, but that's all I know.
So this would be the reader for the, Diane, in answer to your question, we had one door that was hardwired, and that is the main entrance into the staff building.
Okay,
And I believe that's what this is.
okay.
So there was one door that was hardwired, safety signal. My guess is the fobs are probably in here too, because those were in fact purchased. I don't think we paid anything to safety signal up to this point. So I believe that the fobs would probably be part of this cost.
Okay. Ready for a motion?
I am.
I make a motion that we pay Safety Signal $4,468 for installation of door fobs.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? By roll, Diane Germain, how do you vote?
Aye.
Rich Nichols, how do you vote?
Aye.
John Larkin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jim McCaffrey?
Aye.
Wayne Clocko votes aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, we only have one other invoice tonight, which is for Mass Core for $785.52 for some sort of a maple bench with drawer and metal adjustable legs with casters.
I think it's the one that's on the back of Ron McKinney's office. It's got a couple of computers on it and it's got its back to the escape window.
All right, well, this is just part of their furnishings. And, you know, frankly, Maple, this is very reasonable cost.
Very.
I would certainly entertain a motion here.
Wayne, can I ask a question first?
Sure.
I was just referring to the project budget status report that Kim sent out, and I was just looking at it. And I'm not sure I'm on the right line item. There's a line item for site furnishings.
That's the one.
And that's already over budget. So I know this sounds like a reasonable thing, but I guess my question is, it's just the last of it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure, Jim. But I would respond by saying that those line items were the budget
Yeah.
amounts were not based on precise quotes. All of that came later. So we allocated number and amounts into various buckets. I am not concerned that we have exceeded a budget in a particular line item here.
All right, I mean, it's not a lot. I was just curious as to whether this is the end of it, in which case out of 100 or 90, almost $92,000 budget, it's only like 1,400 over. So even that's not a lot. I just wanted to make sure this is it.
I can't say with any certainty that it is.
Okay.
I believe most of it, I think all of the furniture has been obtained and installed, but I think the invoicing has lagged. So I can't say with certainty that this is it.
And Jim, just so you know, this invoice is included in this, it is reflected in this budget, even though we're just approving it.
Okay.
I figured all along, I've been doing that just to make it easier to see
Okay.
where we're at. And to show the budget in a timely fashion, instead of having to wait for next month to see the results of everything that we approved. But if something doesn't get approved, I go back and would take it out.
There's just not a lot of red items in the budget. Most of it is to the good. So I was curious. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion. I'll do it. Make a motion to pay. I'm the pain in the neck. Core amount or an amount of $785.52 for furnishings.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Jim McCaffrey, how do you vote?
Yeah, I vote aye.
Diane Germain,
Aye.
John Larkin,
Aye.
Rich Nichols,
Aye.
Wayne Clocko votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Any other business that we need to consider for the DPW? Hearing none. Let's talk about the senior center feasibility study. As of today, we have uploaded the final report from Abacus with some minor edits that we've made. Certainly, we've updated the pricing from the original draft report after we had done a more in-depth review with PM&C. But also we deleted, there were pages and pages of backup for the PM&C pricing, and the draft report also included all of the backup materials for the universal engineering environmental study of the existing conditions at the VMB. I didn't think that all of that detail was necessary, and the file was so big as it was really very awkward and hard to manage. So with those changes, the report was able to be transmitted, and it is now on the Council on Aging page of the town website. It is on the Permanent Building Committee page, and it is also on the homepage of the town website. So I think we should start getting some exposure here to all the work that's been done up to this date. We have a working group that's been meeting every week. We have a meeting this Thursday with Diane and Jim and myself, depending on availability, and then the Council on Aging representatives and Patty Ko. As some of you that are over 60 years old know, you've gotten a mailing with the Council on Aging monthly newsletter. That was a hard copy that went out. Diane has finished, as of today, a one-page document that can be sent out electronically on the town's listserv. And we have also finished the presentation for the focus groups, and we have dates for the focus groups. And so we've been busy with finalizing or developing and then finalizing these documents so that we are ready to go public with all the work that we've done, so that the community can understand it and evaluate it. So with that, Diane, you want to talk about your piece?
I was gonna show it, but I can't bring it up. It's in OneDrive and this all eludes me. What I've done is a one-page front only, which is an electronic version of a description of the project, a little bit of information about the needs. Then there are the three options proposed with the costs for the project and a monthly cost. It's kind of a middle of the road monthly cost. And then the paragraph or two on the focus groups with the dates. And it's just a good way of showing people when what's going on, when the focus groups are. The schools have a pretty big listserv that they send things out weekly to all the parents. The library has a couple of thousand people on a listserv. Only about 1,000 open the newsletters, and they're not all from Millis, but the majority are. And Patty Ko has a big list of people, so we thought we'd attack all three of them with the electronic version. It's just a one page, and it shows easily electronically. They also have a trifold brochure, which would not show well electronically, so I just redid something. That's
All
it.
right. And when is that intended to go out, Diane?
Probably in the next week or two. There's
Okay.
not great urgency other than maybe to the school people. Because I want to get them before they go off and, the kids get out of school. But our last focus group is in June, the 22nd, so we're fine.
But in our first focus group is the end of May. Is it what, the 24th? Is that right?
I think so.
I believe that's right.
Yep.
The other issue that we've talked about is we were looking for a geotechnical firm to investigate the Cassidy Farm property as to whether or not it was wet. There had been some previous information related to the field study that the property was wet. And in our attempt to confirm that, we got a proposal from GZA. GZA, as you know, is the firm that Pat Sheehan, former member of this committee, is the chief operating officer, chief executive officer of that company based in Norwood. I've reviewed the proposal in terms of scope and find it acceptable. There's a component of it that would require the DPW to actually dig the test pits. I've asked Jim McKay to review it to make sure that he's agreeable. And I sent it to Mike Gazinski as well as the chief procurement officer to review the quote boilerplate contractual language. I'm waiting to hear back from both of them as to whether or not they find it acceptable. It's probably been a little over a week since I've sent that to them, and so I'm waiting for their response.
Wayne, on the study, how long would it take to do it?
I think the actual work is they expected to do it within a 2-day period. If my recollection is correct, it's very quick. And the results should be pretty obvious, particularly with all the rain that we've had. We've had a pretty wet year, so, and our interest is primarily groundwater. Although they did make a mention, Jim, which was somewhat of a surprise to me, that they had somewhat of a concern that this is farmland. And I would have thought that would be virgin land, that wouldn't be an issue from a contaminant standpoint. But they're going to do some cursory evaluation for fertilizers.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be an exhaustive evaluation, but it is going to be a kind of an indicator as to whether or not there might be an issue. And I know Rich asked a question previously as to whether or not, we're confining this to the footprint of the building. We really don't have a footprint at this point. All we have is a conceptual drawing in the area. So it'll be more of a general test pit study in that corner of the property, the 16 acres that's closest to the Exchange Street Island Road intersection.
Well, obviously, if there's any kind of absolute no-go finding, sooner we find out, the better, right? So hopefully we'll get a response from the town administration so we can get this done.
I'm anxious. I echo your sentiment. I sent it on to them the day I received it. I'll follow up in the morning and see whether or not they've had a chance to review it. I don't know if they sent it on to council. you know, a survey of this nature, usually the issues of responsibility, indemnification, those kinds of things, you know, become issues that lawyers like to, you know, parse up and go back and forth. But this is so straightforward that I wouldn't think that there should be any issues with it. But we will see. We'll see.
Wayne, I understand it was all farmland. I spent some time with John Stedman this morning, who's on the Concom and on the FinCom. And he had copies of all the plans for whatever reason and brought them over and gave them to me. I'll bring them to Wayne Thursday when we have a meeting. But it does show that it was all farmland. And there's only one corner kind of over near the McGinnis's house that's really wet, other than the conservation area that's partly Army Corps and partly town, I guess.
Okay.
Over towards Bogastow Brook, I think.
I don't know what it is, John. Probably that's what it is, but
Okay.
I thought this actually goes back towards the Charles River or some tributary into the Charles.
I think it's Bogastow Brook. Wayne.
All right.
well, we'll
So-
find out.
So that's what's been going on with the senior center feasibility study.
Wayne, there's one other thing. I don't think we mentioned, maybe I missed it, but we have some hard copy things we're going to distribute as well.
That's correct.
And that's hopefully handouts at town meeting and town election. Again, this is part of awareness, the awareness phase of our program, so to speak. So we're going to use electronic media as well as some hard copy. That's really going to be targeted to people who are actually voters. So, I mean, that's an important component of this as well. And Diana's been working on that too with Elizabeth. Hopefully, I mean, there was still some back and forthing on that. I don't know, Diana, if you have any updates on where that stands at this point.
On the trifold, I just have to put in the focus group dates. I haven't gotten to that because we thought the electronic version was more urgent. So
I agree. Okay, now you got that done. I'll get to work.
Yep. Well, I did get the usual litany of changes from Elizabeth today,
Mhm.
some of which I made, some of them I said no.
You know, when
I
you
will-
get up to one of those, what they call roundabouts over there, and
Yeah.
you got to get off somewhere. You
Mhm.
can't keep going around and around.
Mhm. There is, for those of you that have not been involved in this, getting communication, getting these documents into an acceptable format is a Herculean effort. Getting everybody on board, all the wordsmithing, you know, agreeing on the content, having everybody sign off on it, takes an awful lot of effort. So I know Jim and Diane have been very involved in that. Thank you very much for your efforts. The Council on Aging, one area that has been a little surprising to me is the sensitivity on some of their parts about just the term community center. They seem to be sensitive about whether or not it's a senior center or a community center or both, or what that means. I don't seem to have nearly the concern about whatever distinction there is, because I'm not sure that there is a difference. But they seem to be somewhat sensitive to it.
That's one of the things I declined to change. Because on the electronic one, I'd used the words community center. And I did add that, you know, the center would be available after the senior hours.
Right.
But
And I think-
they didn't want it in there at all.
Yeah, and I don't understand that, because I think at one point they were concerned about having a exclusive use senior center. And
Yeah.
now they've come off of that. And I think it's easily explainable. But I'm not sure what their the nature of their sensitivity is. But
Well, I
think
mean,
that-
yeah, one of the last meetings we had, the chair of the board specifically said they have no problem with, community members using this when the seniors are not. I mean,
Right.
he said,
Right.
They don't
Right.
want to call it, they don't want to call it a community center. That's the distinction, Jim.
well, never mind. I mean,
I said the
You're gonna have to
PBC,
get
the
past that.
architect,
Yeah.
huh?
They're gonna have to get past that if there's a snowball's chance of this thing passing.
Exactly. I said the PBC and the architects want to call it a community center, and that's,
anyway,
it's frustrating. It's an exercise in change, change, change. I don't like this. I don't like that.
Well, nevertheless, we are making progress.
We are.
I am encouraged by all of the work that's been done on the final abacus report, the focus group presentation, the trifold hard copy handout, the one-page electronic document for the listserv, and the original hard page information that went out with the Council on Aging monthly newsletter. So we're busy doing things, and the website, getting things posted on the website. So I don't think anybody can fault us when all of this starts rolling out that we haven't done our due diligence in getting the word out. I think we'll be all set with that. So any questions, comments on that whole effort?
Yeah, I'll be glad when it's done.
All right.
When do we get to the fun part where you and I can hang out at the transfer station and hold a sign?
Well, Jim was gonna do an open house after town meeting, but I don't know when he's gonna schedule it.
Well, Rich, when you and I did our last transfer station thing, my recollection is I froze my behind off. This time you and I can get eaten by black flies. How's that? Yeah, the price we pay for progress, right? Okay. Any other business that the committee needs to consider tonight, or shall we review some minutes?
Minutes.
All right.
The minutes are from March 22nd.
All right. I move that we approve the March 22nd minutes as drafted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? John Larkin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jim McCaffrey,
aye.
Rich Nichols,
Aye.
Diane Germain.
Aye.
Wayne Klotko votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right. I think we should we should schedule a meeting, not necessarily for the senior center feasibility, although we may have something to report this time in May. But we may need to meet if Jim McKay has got more information for us to consider on either the paving or the generator. So let's go ahead and schedule a meeting. How about May 24th?
I think you said that was a focus group.
That's a
didn't you?
focus group. I think it's a focus group. Hang on,
Is that in the evening?
I'm looking. May 24th is at 7 PM. Yep.
Yeah, all right. Can't do that. Let's do it the next night, the 25th. How does that sound?
I'm gonna be on vacation.
How about that whole week, Rich?
Yeah.
All right.
So I leave on the 20th. I get back after Memorial Day.
All right. Then I would say I'm away the week of the week prior, so the week of the 16th, I'm away. We can meet the week of June 6th.
Or there's May 30, May
What?
31st.
Well, I'm just wondering, when is Memorial Day? No,
30th.
30th
is it 30th? Okay,
of May.
yeah, let's try that because frankly, I think I'm away the week of the 6th of June as well. So how about June 1st?
So, you want June 1st or May 31st?
When
May
When is-
31st is the Tuesday. Monday is Memorial Day, which is the 30th.
when are you back, Rich?
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back then. The 31st will work.
All right, let's try the 31st then.
Okay,
And if we get information from GZA that makes us need to meet before then, we can do it by phone,
Yeah,
right?
or if we get a proposal, a paving proposal that we need to act on, we'll have to work
Yeah.
on convening a meeting.
Okay,
All right,
yeah.
okay, very good.
good.
All right,
Anything
good night.
else? Then, motion to adjourn?
Second,
All right.
we're
so
adjourned.
moved. Good night, everyone.
Good
See
night.
ya.
Right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.